All right, so I'm sharing the screen again. We are taking it from where we ended with the sum if. All right, so now, coming, let me look at this very well. Total refugees for each country, right? So question number two. Question number two. Question number two. We are looking at sum total. Also, we are looking at countries, right? So country, and we are looking at sum total or some cases, right? Or total refugees, please. Let's use total refugees. Total refugees. Refugees. Hey, how do you use refugees? Total refugees, right? So how do I do it? Please, to do this, we are going to use two formulas right over here. What to say?
No, continue.
Okay, we are going to use two methods over here. So now I can choose to do it manually and I can choose to automate, right? So the technical term is to configure an empty cell. And immediately, if I tap any country here, I must get the total refugees over here, right? So we are going to do the configuration or the automated configuration and the manual one. So let's do the manual one first, right? So manually, sum if, right? Sum if. So the sum if will ask of a range first. Please, like we did for the sum, come to your data. Don't touch anything. Please always look at the parameters very well, right? First thing is asking of a range. Now your range, always, whenever you are using a sum if function, please, your first range should be your qualitative data, your string data types, your text, So when you select your range, because you are looking for the countries, you want to look for the total refugees for only Afghanistan. But in this case, we want to automate our function, right? So you go for your range. Now, when you come here, you see your function in the formula bar. Please, you can write it anywhere. When to use the formula bar in writing a function or writing a formula. We use the formula bar when the formula you are writing is long and complex. In that case, if you use a cell, it is going to be problematic when you are not an expert or you are not proficient with the function you are writing. So it is an ideal to use the formula bar. That will give you a bigger space to do that. So what is our criteria over here? Please, now, I said we are going to do it manually, only for Afghanistan. So my criteria is only to look for Afghanistan. So highlight on the country you are looking for. After that, the second one is asking for some range. Now I want to look for only the refugees assisted by the commission. Now the sum range is the quantitative part of the data you want to look for, right? You highlight it. Please, over here, don't just click enter like we did for sum. Close your bracket. Boom. So when you do that, now let's press on enter, right? Now we have this for who? Afghanistan, right? Let's go and look for Afghanistan manually. Count. If we get the same thing, then it is correct. If not, then we are all wrong. Then we need to do something about that. So Afghanistan, the first one, the people that went to Iran were 38. So 38 plus 123. Please, can somebody do that mathematics for us? The best people over here, please. Can you do mathematics for us?
think that's 161.
That's correct, right? Okay, so this is how we do it manually. Let's try and do manual for one country as well, right? So Afghanistan. So let's do for Algeria, right? We're going to do for Algeria. So in doing for Algeria, our focus is on Algeria. So we first must bring this function, some if, please click on it twice or once, depending on the machine you are using. When you see they don't click anything, just come and click on where your data is, right? Now, your range, this one, you will pick the qualitative data. Please, in data science, in data analytics, when data is in a table like this, we don't say qualitative and quantitative data. We have something called data types. So any column that has full text words, like I have highlighted over here, they are called string data type. Please write it somewhere. String data type. So they are string. Select your string data type, followed by the comma. I said, when do we use the formula bar? We use the formula bar when the formula we are writing is long and complex. Now, our criteria here is we are looking for only Algeria, so let's click on it. Boom. Hey, please. Boom. Followed by another comma. Followed by another comma, right? Then you look at the total that you want to look for, right? For Algeria only. Highlight Algeria. Please do all and close your bracket. And then, boom, you must get the total cases for Algeria here. Now, we are going to automate our analysis. So to automate our analysis, now this is the total refugees and this is the country, right? And now you can't do it for all the countries. Imagine you have 300 countries. Please, are you going to do it manually? You will die young, right? Don't mind me. So to automate it, we will use the same function, sum if, right? Sorry, sum if. The first thing is to come and pick your string data type. Please, I'm using the terminology anyhow, so we can all get it as we progress. So come and select your string data type. Please, that's where your criteria is. After here, I'm going to give you a scenario and I'll test your understanding on how to generalize this understanding to any data set you'll be given to and how you can apply your sum and your sum if at what point in time. So now our criteria here, we are not going to pick any we don't want to have any criteria over here. So we are going to select something over here. When we come here, you will see that this analysis sheet is popping up over here. Please, we don't need it. Clear everything, right, to the comma. When you clear everything to the comma, we want to automate. Please, always there should be an empty cell behind wherever you are writing your formula, right? So why are we leaving an empty cell here? We are leaving an empty cell because we want to configure. Those that understand IT better, to configure something, it's like, oh yeah, right? To work as you want it. Please, my Tanzanians, if you are here, I am just using our local dialect to explain something further. So now we want to automate our empty cell. So any country we put there must give us an answer, right? So now if you click on the empty cell, now it will give you the cell name, which is C. This is C13, right? But in this case, it is not giving us the C13. It is giving us the name of the sheet, followed by the cell name. That is fine. Please still bring your comma, right? Because that's our criteria over here. Let's come back to our data, right? Let's come back to our data and delete this one, please. Always be careful of it, right? Make sure you are following these parameters, your range, your criteria, comma, anything that comes, please make sure you delete before you do the needful. So let's select our total refugees assisted by the commission. Let's close it, right? Let's hit enter. This one is going to give us 0, right? Now, which country should we put here first? Now let's come. Copy Afghanistan, right? You can just tap it, but I'm not good at spelling, so I'll just come and put Afghanistan over here, right? The moment I hit enter, it is going to give me the entire cases automatically, right? Automatically. So now you can clean this because it is EDA you are doing. Please remember, exploratory data analysis. You are exploring your data to understand your data better. Now let's type Algeria here. You know my spelling. Okay, now the Algeria, right? It gave us the exact values that we did it manually. Now let's look for Albania. Right, it is given as 0. Is it true? Albania 0, yes, 0 is true. So Albania we have 0. So up to here, Albania 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now let's look at which country again? Angola. So let's put Angola over here. Angola. All right, it is giving us the total cases of Angola, right? So you can choose to color this. Sometimes over here, when you intend to do anything rather than how you configured it, it becomes an issue. But I don't know how your SL will do, right? But I will plead, if you are using the automated function, then you can color here and you leave where you configured, right? In order not to give you an issue, right? Let me try. If I convert everything into a table, it will still give us the generation. Sometimes, depending on the SL type you use, it may give you an issue, right? It may give you an issue. Okay, let me see if I put any country here. I'll get a result. Okay, it's still working, right? It's still working. But please, if you convert yours into a table and it's not giving you any response, right? Please quickly undo it, right? Quickly undo it. Okay. That's question 2. Let's go to question number 3. Question number 3. Question number 3. So question number 3. So now we move faster, right? Okay, I think we will leave question number 3 because I needed to do some extensive addition, right? So we are going to look at the 4th question. Find, I think I calculated the question number 2 here. I did it over here. I think I deleted it. Yeah, deleted it. It's a bit complex. So find average refugees assisted by the commission. So this one, we are just going to find the average. You're going to use the average function, right? So to find the average function, you just come here. So this question number 3, right? And you write here average. So the average. So average, I'm coming on, average refugees, average number, right? Assisted, average number assisted, right? So this one, as simple, we are just going to use our average function, right? Your average function. And you come to your column that that is your target. We are looking at those assisted by the commission, right? You press enter, and now we have our average to be 53.4, 53, 534.540, and the rest, right? So if we are to interpolate, then we are going to look at why this and its significance on our data interpretation. But we are not looking at data interpretation, we are looking at exploring the data and analyzing our data, right? So this is your average number. So you can choose to design it. So somebody may ask me, why am I designing my data like this, right? You design your data to give more visual impression, right? And okay, also draw attention to decision making. So I'm adding question number 3. Question, oh no, Question 3. Why am I naming my sheet like that? Now, this will ease the understanding of my supervisor, whoever I'm sharing this with, right? Okay, analysis. So question 1, question 2, question 3. I can bring question 4 here, right? I can bring question number 4 here. So question 5 here. Question number 5. Question number 5. Question number 5. So this question 4, right? I skipped question 3. Question 4. So the question number 5. Now, if you want to change the color of your sheet, right? Come here and you will see tab color, right? So you can change your tab color over here. So this makes you a good data analyst, that you know what you are doing. So question number 5 is asking of count the number of refugees assisted. So in this case, we are going to count the sheets, right? How many sheets do we have? So this will tell you the rows you have, right? The count function always tells you the rows you have. And if you have empty cells, it will not be able to count the empty cells. Right, so we are going to look at row count. We are going to look at row count. Row count, right? So question number 5. Question number 5. You're looking at row count. And the count function, we use the count function. Right? So please, the count function is only used for quantitative variables. Please, quantitative for row count. So you come, you highlight everything over here. Please, the problem here is your header is not part. So make sure you take that part from your analysis, else you will get wrong answer, right? So be very careful of how you highlight whatever you are highlighting. So now we are getting 37, right? Let's go and look at our rows if it is 37. If not, then our count is wrong. Then let's try and take something out from it and see the changes. So now we have, it is starting from 2 over here, right? And let's see where it is ending. 38, and we are getting 37 over here. So 1 minus 38, I think it is correct. We have 37, right? So let's see. Let's try and delete the 1 0 here. Let's try and delete 1 0 here, and let's come back. It is going to reduce to 35 minus 2. Why? Because the count function doesn't count an empty cell. So these are some of the things you do to understand your data, called exploratory data analysis. Whenever you are working on a big data set, you explore to understand the data before you even begin to do any crazy analysis. So let's put the zeros over here, right? Let's put the zeros over here and come back. And let's look at what we will get over here. We are getting 37, meaning that the count function only counts quantitative variables. So let's try, come back, put some qualitative values over here, or string data type. Let's come. Please, -1, meaning it can count string variables, right? So I believe the understanding is clear. So somebody will ask, then, Kofi, what do we use to count string data types? To count a string data type, I'm coming. So let's look at the next question. There's question 6 is count number of countries with affected refugees, right? So now you want to see the total number of countries with affected refugees. Now you want to count the quantitative variables. Maybe you have list of students, right? And after the Excel sheet was generated, you didn't number it well. So you want to know the total number of students, right? Or total number of customers on either names or products. You use the, come here and see, you use the count A function, right? So it can also be called the counter function or count A function. So we use the count A function. Oh, sorry. We use the count A function You come, you pick your string data type, right? You hit enter, and now we have the same thing, 37, 37, with no missing values, right? Let's try and delete one country from it, right? Let's try and delete one country and come back and see. Now it is reduced by 1, right? Meaning that the count A function also doesn't count empty cells, right? We have another one to count everything, but we are not there yet. Let's take them one after the other. So okay, now let's come to question number 7. Count the number of countries that hosted affected refugees. So how do we do this? Please, we are looking at the countries that hosted affected refugees. So when we come here, you could see that our attention is shifting from the countries that were affected to countries that hosted, right? Where they were sent to. So Iran, how many countries were taken to Iran? So in this case, we are going to look at how many people or how many refugees were taken to Iran, how many refugees were taken to Egypt, how many refugees were taken to Serbia and Kosovo, how many refugees were taken to Cameroon. So to do this, you can't just look at one and say 6 or 4 or 5, right? You must use your count if function to know it for the number of times the countries are repeating themselves over time, right? So how do we do it? Now, number of refugees, RF to countries, right? To countries. Please let me format my data so it will look nice as it is looking some wavy. Okay. So this is question number 6. All right, so question 6, and this is question 7. Question 7. Okay, so to do this, we are going to use the count if function, right? So the count if function can also be applied like the sum if. Okay, I see a question here. Okay, please, you can ask the question, Razak.
I wanted to ask that the affected countries, some of the countries are repeating itself.
Oh, all right.
So why don't we count them as only one country and we multiply them?
Okay, so the reason why they are repeating themselves, right, is based on the principles of data collection. But specifically to this data, you could see that the Afghanistan, right, some were taken to Iran and some were taken to Pakistan. So they are repeating themselves because of the countries, some of the affected people from that country were taken to.
Oh, okay.
Countries affected. Count if function.
No, 6. I say use counter function.
Yeah.
Counter function.
Yeah, 37. So it is going to count the number of countries.
Okay.
Right. As in the rows.
Okay.
You understand?
Almost the same as number of rows.
The number of rows. But we use counter for a string data type.
And find the quality.
The quantity. Right. And we use count for int data type. I hope you know int data type. Qualitative data. Okay. Razak, please, is your question answered?
Yeah, it's okay.
All
I
right.
understand now.
Okay, so
Thank
now,
you.
all right. So now we can also automate our count if function, right? So let's go by the automation. Count if now the count if is only looking for two criteria, two parameters, right? The first parameter is the range. Now we only select our string data type we are looking for, right? We select our data type we are looking for. After that, what we are going to do, because we are going to automate, right? We are not going to pick Iran, so let's do it manually. Now let's look for only Iran, right? We are looking at the total number of people that were taken to Iran, right? So is it 2 or 1? So is Iran repeating itself 1, or it is repeating itself 2, right? Let's see something. We have just 1, right? So meaning Iran only had one country coming to Iran, right? So if we want to do further inquiry, right, then we can come and look at, oh, which country was taken to Iran, or which people from which country were taken to Iran. So you can come and do further analysis. Now let's do that same thing for different countries. We are doing it manually, right? So count if the range. So let's look at Egypt, right? Let's look at Egypt and see. Oh no. Count if, so please, your comma, right? This one is taking two parameters. The criteria is what? Egypt. So how many countries took affected people to Egypt, right? So we could see that Egypt 1, right? So now manually, let's go through and see if we can see any country repeating itself over time. I think let's try this and see. If you will see some countries or a country that is taking more than one.
Iraq took more than 1.
Iraq, okay, let's see. Count if, let's come and pick our range. And okay, I think saying Iraq. Oh, sorry. Please, your comma is very important, right? After your first argument, your comma is very important. Then Iraq. Okay, I see Iraq over here. Close it and let's see. So it's true. Now Iraq received 2 countries coming to Iraq for shelter. So if we want to do further analysis, then we can come and look at the countries and we can compare them, right? Using different functions. So now let's automate it over here and see. So in automating it, right, we are looking at the number, right? We are looking at the number here and we are looking at the country here, right? Country here. So we are going to automate this. To automate count if and sum if, we leave an empty cell behind, right? So count if, come and select your range. Count if any country received more than 1 refugees from a specific country. Please, after this, come back to the sheet. When you come back, anything you will see after your comma, please delete it, right? And then click on your empty cell. Your empty cell, close it. And now let's go. So now which country should we type here? Let's type Egypt, right? Egypt first. Oh, is it correct? Iraq. Oh, why? Okay. We have Iraq over here. Let's see for which country? Let's see for China is 0 here. Let's see for Iran. Let's see for Iran. All right, so that's it, right? So this is how we can use the count if to automate and look at how often or the number of times people from any other country were taken to Iran, right? Using the count if. Let's come to the 8, right? The 8 is saying that classify countries with more than 50 refugees as need urgent humanitarian assistance or few volunteers. So if you have watched the video, you would get more insight on how to use the count if over here. No, Iran is one. Yeah. Yeah, Iran is one. Iraq is two. Iraq is two. Yeah. So now looking at this one, it's saying that classified countries with more than 50 refugees as need urgent humanitarian assistance, and those less than 50 as maybe they need few volunteers in your analysis, right? So if you want to do this analysis, then it is good you copy maybe your entire table and paste it where you want to do the analysis, right? You want to do the analysis like this. But in this case, maybe we didn't intend to do that though. But always to do something like this, please, the first thing to do is to copy your table and paste it in a different sheet, right? So always you have copy of your data. I'm coming. I didn't get the entire thing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm coming. I think I have issue here. Okay, I didn't add the. Please, if you select anything and you didn't get the heading, the headers, do all and click Control and select everything right before you copy, so you can get your entire table to whoever you want to send it. Right? You format it very well. All right, so you format it very well. So please, your data formatting is very important, right? Very, very important too. Your data analysis. All right, so maybe I can include here status, right? I can include here status over here. So I'm looking at the total refugees and people refugee-like situation. So I'm looking at the total refugees over here. So I can choose to insert a new sheet somewhere here, insert over here, or it can be at the latter part of it, right? So now I want to use my if function. So now the logical statement is asking that, what is your logical statement? You have to define your logical statement. So if my first value, right, my first value is less than 50, please, after your logical statement, what you have to do is to bring your comma. If my first value is less than 50, tell me that we only need few volunteers for that country. But if it is more than 50, tell me that we need urgent humanitarian assistance, right? And always the if function takes two arguments. It takes true or false, right? So now let me do this and we will get it better if you've not watched the video. So if my value is less than 50, tell me true, right? Tell me it is true, comma. If not, tell me it is false. To know that if it is true, then it is less than 50. If it is false, it is bigger than 50, right? Now you could see that it said that it is true. It is less than what? 50, right? So if I replicate this formula to the entire sheet, it is going to give me my logical statement. So false means more than 50, right? So it's true, 0, because it is less than 50. 18, it is less than 50, right? But in this case, I'm going to deviate from the function's main definition being true or false statement. The moment I deviate from the true or false statement, anything I want to indicate it as true should be put in quotation mark. So now if my first function is less than 50, now tell me, oh, please, sorry. Tell me, I'm coming. Tell me, a few volunteers, right? You can put anything there to make a meaning, right? Few volunteers. Then you close it. Please make sure it's always in quotation marks, right? Quotation marks. After that, followed by a comma. Now your false statement, right? So if it is bigger than 50, tell me no, it is them, it is serious. I need urgent humanitarian assistance, right? So let me put it like this. Please. Now let's see. Because it is less than 50, it's saying, oh, you need few volunteers, right? So anytime you are deviating from the normal function true or false, make sure whatever you are writing, you put it in quotation marks. If you are able to get this conditional statement correct, Python is something smaller for you. So this is the conditional if statement, right? This is what most of the lecturers used to do to add some marks to your scores if you get the 30, the 20s. I think we have just 2 minutes. And now, the 9 is saying that merge affected countries to their respective hosted refugee countries, right? This is very simple. We have just 2 minutes. I'll give the question 9 and the question 10 as an assignment, right? So I'm urging each and everyone to watch the previous video I shared, I think 2 days ago with this one, and let's try and do the question 9 and the question 10. Because from tomorrow, we are going to take a different step altogether, making sure we move and we practicalize our training, right? So please, if you have any question, if you have anything for me to address, please, you are welcome. So assignment submission is on Wednesday, right? During our second open section. And you are free to also contact a colleague, right, for teamwork support, or you can reach out to me and we will discuss it. Hello. Please, are you all here?
Yeah.
All right. So any question? All right. So the question 9, use concatenate function to merge the countries, the affected countries and their respective hosted refugee countries. And question number 10, identify each country first, their total refugees and the situation. So the question 10, let me do small antics for you here, and I'll delete it as quickly as possible. All right, so now you can use 2 methods, right? The